Look, Marcia Langton, one of the Voice co-architects, she gave a speech at the Press Club yesterday. She slammed Peter Dutton's comments where he proposed a second referendum if the first one later this year fails. Have a look at what she had to say.
There's no point in a second referendum because it's not what we want. As Peter Dutton outlined the purpose of his referendum, or to the extent that he did, it is not what we asked for.
Jacinta, does this idea of a second referendum undermine or confuse the No camp's position?
Look, I think what this is in reference to is the fact that obviously the Coalition have had a long-standing position in terms of recognition of Indigenous Australians. And the problem is that, you know, Marcia says this is not what we want. And when Marcia refers to we, she is referring to the handful of people that are making these demands and have hitched the Voice entity, unknown, risky, divisive and permanent entity, onto recognition. And evidently the polls are certainly showing that Australians don't want the Voice. There are a lot of Indigenous Australians who don't want this unknown entity known as the Voice, whereas recognition is a completely separate issue. And of course, you know, the Labor government failed to hold constitutional conventions with the Australian people to get to a position where it would provide a likely majority supported vote, which is certainly, I know, what the Coalition, you know, there's talks within the Coalition would do, is to hold those constitutional conventions to make sure that all Australians
just to be clear,
are
would you
support?
support? You would support a second referendum just on Indigenous recognition?
Look, at this stage, there are a couple of bridges we've got to cross. The first bridge is getting past this referendum, and that is certainly the focus between now and October 14. And there needs to be obviously further discussion as to a second referendum within party rooms and determinations made that brings everyone together in agreement with that. And that
doesn't sound like you support it right at this moment.
Oh, look, I'm all for process, and I'm very much consumed with the fact that we're dealing with this referendum at the moment, and that for me is my priority.
All right. Jacinta Price, thank you very much for joining me.